Hey everybody, we are just coming back from Summit and I'm really excited about our guest speaker tonight. But before we get started, I just wanted to do a couple announcements. I've made some changes to the team call schedule. I posted in Team Relentless, but I wanted to announce it in case you missed it because there's been a lot of posts in Team Relentless group since coming back from Summit. But starting this month and moving forward, the team call that's open to everybody in the team is going to be the first and the last Tuesday of the month. That way it frees everybody up so they don't have to plug in every Tuesday. And then the second Tuesday of the month, I'm going to be doing a one-on-one, or I guess not, it's not really one-on-one, but I'm doing a call just for my personally sponsored coaches. And then week 3, that Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a call for new coaches. So that means I know there's so many new coaches on our team that are signing coaches, and I know that you don't know what to say, what to do. And so I wanted to offer a new coach call for anybody that, needs help getting their coaches started. Or sometimes I know for a fact that like Valerie Rippey, she works crazy hours as a nurse and her team's growing super fast, but she's working opposite schedules with some of her coaches and they haven't had a chance to do that. So I'm going to be doing that monthly. So just keep that on your calendar if you're needing help. And, if anybody's struggling with challenge groups, I've seen some posts there, or with getting coaches started, just reach out to your upline or to anybody in the group. There's amazing, tremendous amount of help inside of our group. There's not going to be, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. I have so much on my mind from Summit. Next Wednesday, we're doing an Emerald in a Day group. The first time we did it, how many did we have, Chris? Was it like 7 or 8 people advanced to Emerald?
There was a lot.
Yeah. We did that. So since we're in the middle of the cup, or we're in the cup a month, it just kicked off yesterday, I'm going to do another one that first Wednesday, which is on the 10th. I did an event invite in the Team Relentless groups. If you're not in the Team Relentless group, reach out to somebody, have them add you. But there's a buy-in for the person that's in the group, and then their sponsor has to pay in. And then at the end, whoever reaches Emerald by the Thursday the 11th, then they'll get to split this pot. Last time they walked away happy. So this is your chance to have a little bit of push and get it. There's a challenge for all of you people who like friendly competition and also training involved to help you. I'm doing a 5-day coach sneak peek on the 15th and the coach opportunity call on the 31st as well. So again, if you're a new coach or you're not feeling comfortable yet doing these on your own, then feel free to invite people onto these calls because I'm more than glad to help you. We're just coming back from Summit. There was tons and tons and tons of information. So if you didn't listen to National Wake Up Call, please do. And if you can get to Super Saturday, find an event in your area this Saturday. Some towns I know do it on Fridays or Sundays, but get there because there's a recap of everything that is going on. But we have some amazing programs that are coming out. A 3-week yoga retreat, which is basically amazing for people who look at yoga and think of it as like for hippies and weirdos. And it just basically breaks down yoga, the basics. And I personally am going to do that program along with Ultimate Reset again. So if anybody wants to join me and do this, that would be great, because if you've done Ultimate Reset, you know that you can't do strenuous workouts. And so this would be perfectly paired together. It's 3 weeks, and you're basically it's available via Beachbody on Demand. And lastly, along with the other programs that are coming out, I'm not going to get into because they're later on in the year, but we're doing the health bet. And that was something that was super amazing to me, that just really compounded everything that I know. And why I'm part of Beachbody is because it's truly about the lives that are affected. It's not about Success Club points. It's not about money that's being made. It's about truly helping people. And our team's really good about really nurturing the people that we're working with and having great relationships with them, and really caring about improving their health. We're not just a company that just sells some weight loss and discards the people until we need something again. Carl is doing a $1 million pot, and then any challenge pack that was sold between July 27th and 31st, they were going to kick in at $5. And I know halfway through Summit, he said that there was, 20,000 challenge packs sold at that point. I know there's a lot more since then. So there's well over $1 million that's going to be split, and it runs from September 6th to I think October 5th. You have to be in a challenge group. ran through the Beachbody Challenge Tracker app, and this is available to you as coaches and to customers. All you have to do is log 5 Shakeologies and 3 workouts. That is seriously super simple. That's like 8 things that you have to do every week for 4 weeks. When you do that, then you are eligible to split this pot. And I mean, talk about accountability and just knowing that we have a company that isn't obviously not all about money, because they're giving the money away. We've got to see it summit people, winning $25,000, $100,000. Their coach is getting $20,000. Is such an amazing, give back from our company. So if you are not in a group or not running a group on the Beachbody Challenge Tracker app, make sure you get familiar with it this month so that you're ready to go starting in September and you participate in this to get part of the pot. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Chris. Chris is from the same county that I'm in. I'll never forget when she reached out to me asking about Shakeology, and she, needed something extra for herself to feel better, to help her, because she was training for her first, I think, 5K or 10K, I can't remember. But I'll let her tell you her story of how she got started with Beachbody and how she got started with coaching and all the bumps along the road.
Oh man, and there have been bumps, like lots of bumps along the road. But like Mindy was saying, we live in the same town. And Mindy was like the only person I knew that was selling Shakeology. She was posting about it on Facebook, and I was actually training for my first half marathon, and just putting food away. I mean, if you've ever trained for a big race, you know that cardio just leaves you hungry. And so I was just eating food and actually gaining weight during my half marathon. And I reached out to Mindy to just get a 7-day supply of Shakeology to try it. And I loved it. From the get-go, I honestly wasn't really in love with the taste right away, but I felt so good. I had such a good run afterwards. My body was feeling good after a week. And so I decided to go ahead and buy a bag of Shakeology. Well, Ben and I were also broke at the time, my husband. We had 2 little bitty babies. We had just moved to the town we're in now, which is Burnham. And we really didn't have the money, but I had tried diet pills in the past, hydroxycut, and that made me really sick. I actually ended up going to the ER over that because I have heart issues to begin with. And so I wanted to do it the healthy way, which is why I reached out, tried Shakeology, and decided to get a bag. And I actually, about halfway through the bag, I saw what it would cost because I was like, oh my gosh, I put it on my credit card. We didn't have the money. And I was like, credit card's coming in. How am I going to do it? So I returned my first bag of Shakeology. I am like the worst customer, right? So returned my first bag of Shakeology, just kind of sat back hoping Mindy wouldn't say anything or see anything. I was so embarrassed to say it. And I didn't drink Shakeology then for about 6 to 8 weeks. And sometimes, like especially with Shakeology and things, when you take good stuff away is when you really notice the change that it's had in your body and your mind. And after not drinking it for about a month and a half, I was really feeling yucky and gross again, and I was eating crap. And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this, but I'm going to sign up as a coach because in my mind that would prevent me from returning Shakeology, and it also gave me a discount. And at that time, I mean, we needed everything we could get. So I did. I went ahead. I signed up as a coach with Brazil Butt Lift Challenge Pack in December of 2012. And I drank my Shakeology, and I was a discount coach, which is what was when I signed up for, 8 to 9 months. And I was just happy drinking my Shakeology. I was good to go. Well, what's cool about Beachbody is that we're all on some team together, right? And even though you don't know it, like your upline is planning crazy awesome things for you. And I didn't know it. I didn't understand what was going on, but Mindy was going for Elite that year. And in order for her to be elite, she needed a few more diamonds. And I was part of that plan, but I was part of it in that I needed to be an emerald so that I would help create a diamond. And so I was like, you know what, I can help you out here. And emerald, I never thought emerald was a big deal. And so I really don't want y'all to think emerald, I mean, it's a great stepping stone. It shows that, yes, you're reaching out to people, you're putting yourself out there, but it is not a big deal. And so when they told Mindy and Gabriel told me, hey, we need you to have 2 coaches. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I said, well, who should I ask? And they're like, husbands, spouses, everyone. I mean, your cousin, your best friend, like if you have a best friend that has held your hair while you're sick one night and you trust them with your secrets, that's your coach. Go get them. And so I was like, yeah, no problem. So I signed up my husband. And then one of his cousins were actually posting, I saw her posting about insanity a lot on Facebook. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, Lorinda, I see you're doing insanity. Do you coach? I'm just kind of getting my feet wet with this. And she was drinking Shakeology. And I said, oh my gosh, me too. Like, did you know you could get it cheaper? You should so get it cheaper. And so she signed up as a coach and I was emerald. I mean, it was not a big deal. And so that happened. Mindy hit elite. What? And then, we just kept going on. Well, Ben and I, we were getting back on our feet financially and things like that. But I was drinking Shakeology every day. He was really consistent with it. And so we had Shakeology just piling up, And I started to freak out again because I didn't want to have all this product in my house that no one was using. It was becoming an expense. And so I remember telling Gabriel, who then told Mindy, that I was going to go ahead and quit my husband's account. And that would, of course, drop me. I mean, I hadn't told anyone. I hadn't posted about Beachbody no one even knew I was coach really. And so I was like, you know what, I can't afford this right now, holding me and Ben. So I'm going to go ahead and quit Ben and, just go on and go back to being a discount coach. Well, Mindy, so pretty much she was like, don't do that. You do not want to quit your husband's account. Ben was my first coach. And as you grow your business, you're going to see this, understand it after how important it was to have your spouse, to have a parent, to have someone that you trust and that you can ultimately work their account in the end at the top of your organization. And I am forever grateful that Mindy said no. I was expecting her to be like, well, can you just please hold on to it throughout qualification? After that, you can do whatever you want. But her thing, it was more than qualification for her. It was, she understood the importance of having that account there. And maybe she saw something in me that I didn't see, and that she saw that I was going to be, a leader one day. So anyways, I kept that account, thank goodness. And from there, I started thinking, okay, I hung up the phone and I was like, all right, so I'm going with this. We're going to keep Emerald. And I'm talking to myself on my daughter's bed before, just kind of hiding. And I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to afford this? And so I was like, you know what? I don't know much about rank. I have no idea what this volume and cycle bonuses people keep talking about, because I was an Emerald coach and getting like $14 every 2 months. Like, that wasn't selling me. I said, you know what? I can make Ben's Shakeology back. I've heard of coaches saying all you need to do is help 3 people and that you will recoup that cost of Shakeology. And I was like, I can do that. And this was about the same time that 21 Day Fix was coming out. And I was getting really excited about 21 Day Fix because as much as I loved running and going to the gym, I really didn't understand nutrition. And so I thought this would be a great program to start on. And so I did. I ordered 21 Day Fix. And I remember going to Instagram and searching the hashtag for 21 Day Fix to see kind of what I was getting myself into. And there was this woman, had no idea who she was at the time, posting workout selfies every morning at 5 a.m. And I was like, you know what? That's what time I'm finishing my workout. I was up about 4:30, working out, and I was done by 5. And she was posting every day. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. Like, she seems to be having some good success with this, and it'll hold me accountable because no one in my house is gonna care if I oversleep at 4:30. So if I post my picture up there, I'm just gonna ask for a lot of love from people. I'm gonna tell them that I'm tired. And so if I wake up in the morning and then I just need a like or a love or a thumbs up or whatever. Well, that lady that I was following on Instagram was Melanie Mitro, who was the top coach of the organization. Had no idea. I just knew she was consistent, and she was showing up every single morning, and I was going to do the same for 21 days. That changed my business. And I hit Success Club 5 my first month, and I never looked back. I've been in Success Club now for, I don't know, I think it was like 28 or 29 months. And it was all from just putting myself out there and posting a workout selfie. And the first time I posted, I did not tell people I was doing a challenge group, really didn't even understand what those were at the time. I didn't ask people to join me. I simply asked them for their support, because I was a mom who had just, and I mean, I think we could all relate, whether you're a mom or a dad or you don't have any kids at all, like, you just kind of get lost sometimes, and I was lost. I was overwhelmed with motherhood. I was overwhelmed with working a full-time job. I was overwhelmed with coming home to a house that I had to clean and do dishes and feed everyone. And so this was just me putting myself out there and asking people to support me. And I had such an overwhelming response. I didn't have a before and after picture. I mean, I had a good before picture because I was like working on that before picture. I did not have an after picture. And people related to that. People meet you where you are. So if you don't have an after picture, I don't want you to think that you can't go out there and change lives. And if you have a before and after amazing transformation and you've let yourself go, don't be ashamed of that. Like, people relate to that. We all have these crazy valleys. And the more you just put yourself out there and the more that you love on others and ask for love in return, you're just going to have amazing gains in your business. But I remember, so I hit Success Club 5, got binge Shakeology paid for, and I was like, oh, this is so nice, like got that in. I'm building these challenge groups, and I'm able to pay off this Shakeology. And I was like, you know what? I bet I could do that again next month. But this time, I want to use it to go out to eat. I mean, we were broke. Like, we did not go out to eat. And I was like, it would be so cool to take my family out to eat. And so that was my next goal. And I hit Success Club 5 again. And we used that money to go out to eat. And I thought that was like the most amazing thing, that we were able to go out to eat as a family. And I was like, you know what? My kids are pretty cool. Like, they're getting older and I don't have to pack up the entire house to take them out to eat. Maybe we could go on a vacation, And so I remember it was December of 2013. And we took the kids to San Antonio to the Riverwalk for Christmas. And if you've ever seen, I mean, I don't know if y'all are from Texas, but the Riverwalk at Christmas is just beautiful. And there's lights everywhere, and it's just really decorated up nice. And I remember walking, and I mean, it's an hour and a half away from our house. It's not like we had to buy plane tickets. It's not like we had to really plan or, a big extravagant trip. But we didn't have money for a hotel room. We didn't have money to go out to eat. We didn't have money. Like, I couldn't take the kids on a vacation and say, yeah, get a t-shirt. And I was able to that Christmas. And so, we packed up, went to the Riverwalk, got this hotel room that had a balcony. Like, the kids could walk outside. They could see the Christmas lights. It was really, really amazing. And that kind of fueled my fire. And I was like, man, like, we could do better than this. And so it kept going. My goals kept getting bigger. And I think as a coach, you start small. Like, you start with wanting to get your Shakeology paid for, wanting to help someone, wanting to help your friend or your mom or whoever. And then, you just grow on that. I don't want you to ever just get stagnant and think that you're done with hitting your goals, because every morning I wake up with a new goal. Like, even if I didn't hit the one from yesterday, I wake up and there's a new goal for tomorrow. And so after the Riverwalk, that's when I was like, I want to do a big vacation now for them. And so in July of 2014, we went to Destin, Florida. I've never been. My husband had never been. Beachbody paid for the entire thing. It was a lot of hard work because I was working a full-time job. And I guess in 2014 is when things started clicking for me. I started realizing, and I know it sounds silly, y'all might think this too, but even though I know Mindy and I know she's a normal person, like for me to think that someone can quit their job over Beachbody is mind-boggling, like absolutely mind-boggling. And so when Mindy quit her job, I was like, good for you, Mindy, high five, way to go. I'm gonna just keep sitting at my desk and doing some Excel spreadsheets, but good for you, girl. And then, and it was in Florida when I was like, I just paid for this whole fucking trip, like everything, and expensive. I mean, we stayed at a hotel that had like, swim at bars, we drank, we had like, fancy crab legs and stuff. I mean, it was expensive. And I was like, I just paid for all this. And I felt so empowered by that. And I told Ben, I was like, you know what? If I put my head down for a solid year, like if I just say I'm going to do it, would you be okay with that? I'm talking like I might not be at every supper table, I might miss some nights. I might need you to fill in for me. But if I put my head down and go all in, are you with me? And I said, if I fail, we'll be done with it. And I'll just go back to doing it as a hobby. I was never going to quit again, but I would just kind of, take a step back. And if it really becomes something, then it becomes something. And like, I didn't even think honestly about quitting my job. And he was down for that. So for the next year, July 2014 to July 2015, my head was down and I was focused. And this is me because I wanted it so bad. After that trip, I wanted to see my kids in the summer. I wanted to not have to work around other people's schedule that didn't even care about my kids. Like they really didn't care if I was having a blast in Destin or, they wanted me at work. They wanted me doing my job. And when I came back from Destin, like, you come back from vacation, your desk is just piled, and you're on this amazing high from a vacation, you walk in and I mean, it's just like, oh, was it even worth it? And I never wanted to feel that again. And so, I worked at, Blue Bell Ice Cream. I did that from 8 to 5 and I was on. But in the morning, I got up from about 4. I worked from 4 to 6 a.m. Kids were up by then. We were getting things going, went to work. And then I was back on again from about 9 o'clock to midnight, 1 a.m., depending on what I needed to get done. And I did that for a year. And it was hard. And in between that, we had a recall. I was on the front lines of that. There was no sleep. We missed Easter Sunday. Because I was up at Bluebell doing work. There was many a nights when, I wasn't home or on my phone trying to balance it. And I remember sitting on the back porch one night and, when I told Ben I wanted to go all in, I really didn't know what I was going all in for in my mind. And we were making extra mortgage payments. We were paying off credit cards. We were paying off school debt. And, that's kind of where my mind was. It hadn't really gotten to quitting my job because like I said, I'm from a small town. I mean, you work till you're 65. When you're 65, you take a Friday off, but continue to work until you die. Like that's just the way I've been raised. And I've been raised where you work hard. Everyone works hard. But at the same time, hard work to me used to mean you were just making ends meet. Like I never saw anyone in my life work really hard and succeed, And so I never really had that big goal of quitting my job when I went all in. But I remember during a recall, which I mean, guys, if you're ever talking to customer service people or if there's ever a recall or stuff, just remember that other person on the line has a family, they have a heart, they take that home with them. Like be gentle with people, So that's just my PSA on that. So, we're handling this recall for about 4 or 5 months and it's a bunch of good old boys. It's me and, the guys at work handling it. And, I started carrying a bunch of stuff home with me from what people were saying, and it started to change me, and it was wearing me down, and I was becoming a bitter person. I was becoming sad, and I came home and I didn't even talk because I was just so upset with what was going on and what people were saying. And it was on the back porch when, I won't get into it because that's all a different story, but I was talking to Ben about a call that I had with a lady, and it was an awful call. It was very sad. And I told him, I was like, I don't even care. Like, I care, but there's no emotion in me anymore. I am just so dried up. And he was like, Chris, you can't, like, this is not you. You are not this person. You have got to make a decision. Either you're all in with Bluebell, you're all in with Beachbody. I don't care which one you choose, but you choose, go all in. And it was a blessing because at the time, during the recall, we took a pay cut. We took an hour cut. I mean, if I quit Beachbody, went all in with Bluebell, we'd be scraping by with Bluebell. If I quit Bluebell and went all in with Beachbody, I was going to be scraping by with Beachbody. So it's not like there was really a clear choice. I really had to go with my heart. And my heart said I wanted to do Beachbody. I love helping people. I love it. And I wanted to be home with my kids. I wanted to be able to pick my kids up from school and do homework. And so on that back porch is when I decided, I'm doing it. We set a quit date of August 21st. It happened. And coming up, it'll be a year now that I've been home. But it hasn't been easy. And it hasn't been easy to get my team to share the same goal at the same speed that I would like. And that's been something that I've been working on because I have to understand where I came from also. I have to remember that I was the girl that returned the Shakeology. I was the girl who didn't talk about Beachbody for 9 months. I was and so you have to kind of rein yourself back in when you're seeing all this awesomeness and you start to feel a little bit of it. You want to share it with everyone, but not everyone's quite ready to go on board with you. Since quitting my job, my team and I have become a 4-star diamond premier team. We were ranked in the top. We were 344 last year out of 450,000 coaches. And every single one of them put their heads down, got their work done. And I am blessed to have an amazing team of women who are just like me and who fight for things that they want and who really go for things that they believe in. And I think it's just, I was watching this one call one time, and it was Barbie Kalev, it's Sagi's wife, and she said, if you think like your coaches are sucking or your challengers are sucking or your challenge, if something's not going right, it's not them, it's you. And the moment that I realized that, you have to stop complaining about everything that's going wrong and throw it back on you and really evaluate yourself. What can I change? Where can I be more efficient? And through personal development and talking with teams and setting goals, we have just been able to do amazing things. And then we just got back from Summit on Sunday. It was my first ever Summit. And I'm telling you, get there. I was able to get there. My first Summit was a 4-star diamond, premier, Success Club legend. It was badass. And, there's a lot of amazing content. There's a great content. You can find that same content on YouTube through different, through the same coaches talking about the same thing. What makes it special is being there together. I could listen to those same people talk on my computer and get the same thing out of it. I don't know if I really got anything different from the speakers and presentations, but what I did was my team is stronger. We are together. We are fighting together. And there are coaches that I never even met that I met at Summit. They're on our team and I've never even met them. And there is something about just being together with coaches, with 25,000 other people that get you, that it just makes your heart burst, and then to be there and to hear the CEO talk and to hear the top coach call and to hear your upline, we had Kristina Delgado and Becky Rose talk, and it was just, you're hugging their necks. I remember we walked, I'll tell you one more thing, and then I'll switch it over to Mindy and we'll do whatever questions y'all want. But we walked in to this bar to have a lot of fun in Summit. And it was late at night, and Becky and Kristina were there. And I've met them many times. Becky was like my savior when we were going for Elite. So, I have the utmost respect for her. But I remember I walked in and they were at the front of the bar, and they were just chit-chatting, and I turned around and I was like, hey, guys, Becky and Kristina are over there. And I mean, you would have thought it was Tom Cruise, like just to see their eyes light up and to see okay, and to see them for the first time, it was amazing, because I remember the first time I saw them and how starstruck I was, and oh my God, they're real, and it's like your kids, you treat your coaches and your team like your family. And I just kind of stepped back and watched them and just hug on them and like jaws dropped to the floor, and oh my God. And just to connect that way with your team and to connect that way with other coaches is worth it. Like, I don't care if that ticket was $1,000. I'm going to every summit from here on out. I'm not missing it. And as great as the content is and things like that, it's really just being together and getting yourself on the same page, loving on each other, and just getting to understand each other better. I mean, from that summit, we now, like every coach that was there, I can relate to them so much more. I know who they are. I see how they tick. I see what got them excited and what they really didn't care about. And I'm going to be able to make our team stronger because of that. So, as far as Summit goes, really just get there so you can hug the necks of those people that have inspired you and helped you along the way. And they are going to be just as grateful to have you there and to hug your neck right back. But that's my story.
Thank you for sharing that. There are so many parts that I didn't really know that you shared. It's so awesome to hear that. People matter. And I tell Chris this all the time, like, I'll never forget, the first time she texted me when she finished that half marathon. And I mean, she kind of concerned me because she texted me and she was like, I'm crying. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Did you not make it? You guys understand? She was just crying, happy tears. And the thing was, she'd already returned her bag of Shakeology then. And she hadn't even become a coach or part of the team yet, but already there was that accountability there, and I was happy for her. I'll never forget, meeting her up at Bluebell whenever it was tough, for her financially. I knew that they had 2 houses. I knew that her children were little. I knew that, what people make at Bluebell in our town is not a lot. People are barely getting by. I bought her Shakeology back to help her out. Those were the things there. And I will never forget I sat in my car for an hour and 15 minutes talking to her after Fit Club on a Tuesday night. And I was like, please don't quit. Yeah, it did hold together parts of our team and certain goals, but I knew somebody like this that was struggling needed this. And I wrote some notes down today that I wanted to share that Vito LaFata did one of the workshops at Summit. All the Summit training workshops are going to be available in the Coach Online office at some point. So if you didn't get to Summit, or if you didn't get to these workshops, go back and listen to it. But he was talking about, and this is what I talk about all the time, is that coaching, what it means to you may mean something totally different to the next person. But there are different things that, location, people might be military, and I hear this all the time. Somebody said that their prospect said no to a challenge pack because they were relocating to another place because of her husband's job or something like that. And so that she had to put off her challenge pack, in her goals right now. And I just thought that person right there needed coaching for location, because they don't have a job once they move. Then they have to go through the whole process. Then they're putting their goal off. And he also said another thing is time. People want more time. She got Kristina talked about going on vacation and having more time with her kids. Finances, that's another thing that people have. Kristina happens to meet all the needs that he talked about. But there's people out there who literally can't afford their bills. And I see this from people I talk to all the time. I help people set up, like little funds for their challenge packs, because I get that some people just use finances as an excuse. Other people are literally barely getting by, and you don't know their story. The other thing is people, the fact of that, that is a need for a lot of people. For me, working with a bunch of negative people, and that's kind of what Chris went through. It was on the consumer side. With me, it was the employee side. Getting away from those people was a huge part of why I pushed and pushed and pushed to get out of there and be on my own. And then the other aspect that people are looking for is purpose. Is that's one thing that Chris said. Sometimes you're just a person that gets lost, especially for parents. And so those are the things that being a coach may mean something completely different to you, or maybe all of them. But when you're presenting the coach opportunity to people, find their need and share with them how it can help them. So when Chris was telling me all of these things, that I thought, this is a woman who needs this. And, like she said, I don't know if Mindy saw something in me that I didn't. I did. I saw that she was destined for greatness. And I'm no different than anybody else. Like she said, she was happy for me, but didn't see that she could do it. She was following Melanie Mitchell. She didn't even know she was a top coach. Like one thing that going to these events, meeting these coaches is, no matter how long you've been in this business, no matter what star, rank you are, no matter how much money you've made or how many people you've helped, we're all the same people. You are likely or less likely to be entitled to this than anybody else. You're no less talented to do what we're doing and to achieve the same thing. And the biggest thing for me is I just, cared so much about her that I wanted for her what I had. And I knew that you had to put in the work, and I saw some eyes kind of get big when she talked about her schedule, but I did the same thing. I worked my ass off. I used breaks. I used lunches. I used till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I got up. Now, I didn't really get up early. I'm not a morning person. I stayed up really late. And I busted my ass for 21 months. And some people say it's not worth it. And if it's not worth it to you, fine. But staying in a place where you just grow stagnant, where you live a life of mediocrity, where you are just, you're just stifled, your personality is stifled, where you're, hung to somebody's schedule, where you're helping them go on vacation. I'll never forget my boss. He's actually on our team, but I remember he would go for 2 weeks at Christmas to Purgatory to go skiing with his family. I remember during the summer, he would go for 2 weeks to Seaside or Destin with his family, and we would be all at work. I was never mad about it. Some of the coworkers were said some pretty shitty things, but he's the one working for it, and I realized that I worked so hard for these people's dreams, and then I get 5 days of vacation. No way. So I worked hard. So to me, working my ass off for 21 months was way better than doing what Chris said that we would have done in this town. Just kept working, and then maybe by the grace of God, be able to work 4 days or part-time once we hit 65 and up. I'll never forget looking at my supervisor, who was just a wretched bitch, and she was my biggest, push to get out of there. Because, she was so mean to me and so unwilling to let me take off time if my kids were sick or their school was off. And I'm like Chris said, these people didn't care about our family, and I remember her saying that, I'm counting down to my retirement. She just turned 60 and her retirement date was 70. And I thought, hell fucking no, I'm not going to do this. I was 32 at the time. I'm not going to stay working here. She had been there since she was 18. Those are the things that pushed me. And so, when people say, gosh, that's a lot of work, and, man, you didn't get enough sleep, it was worth it, because I wouldn't want to work that 8 to 5 every day. And I remember asking Chris, I remember when she sent me her first 21-day fix results, and I was like, girl, when are you going to post those? And she's like, I remember whenever she started hitting major milestone and Success Club became a non-negotiable, and she started recruiting rock star coaches, and I started seeing this family form out of her team. That was a division off of Team Relentless, a division off of Diesel Nation. And I remember I asked her, we were emailing back and forth, when is your quit date? And at that point, she was like, I don't have one. And I know at that point, she didn't believe there ever would be a date. And so when you're listening to this, you may think that's great for Mindy, for Chris, for Becky, for all these people, but I can't have the same thing. Do what Chris said and just start with little goals, because your goals are going to shift. And as you accomplish them, because literally achieving goals is scientifically proven to create dopamine. It becomes addictive, just like failure can become addictive and self-sabotaging, but you will get there and you deserve it. And you have a team that's not just your coach, not just Kristina, not just me, not just Becky and Kristina. We have a team even from our upline that really want to see you succeed. And I don't know anybody who has that many people in their life that's outside of Beachbody who really want to see them succeed. It's been amazing to watch Chris's, team grow. One thing I wanted to just ask and have you share, Kris, is, like I said, I remember that first text to you like, hey, post your 21-day fix results, and you didn't because you were scared. I remember saying, hey, when are you going to quit your job? What's the date that you're setting? And you were scared. What changed? Like, what helped you change to go all in? Obviously, you said you had goals that kept getting bigger and bigger, but what made you? Because a lot of people want things, but they don't go and spring into action. So for you, what can you share with everybody on the team that helps you do that?
Honestly, it was just watching other coaches. And I don't know if there was obviously one moment, because I do remember posting my 21-day fix results and then like turning my phone off for the rest of the day because I didn't want to even see what people were going to say. And it was so much love. But it was really just watching other coaches. And it was having to change my mindset. I never really, I know I'm a good person. I never really expected greatness from me, I guess. And if you just fill yourself up with personal development and you just watch these coaches and shift your mindset from good for them, but I can't do that, into good for them, why not me? Then you're going to be scared. And that's okay, but you're going to start taking more action. And I really think it was just watching people, and finally the mindset, you quit your job, Gabriel quit her job. And it wasn't even the quitting the job, it was just seeing y'all do different things, with your family and being able to go out and do things. And that was something we never had growing up. It was something I didn't have before Beachbody. And, so it was just, setting those small goals and hitting those just kept building my confidence. Like, there's no need to shoot for 2-star, if you just signed up right now. Hit Emerald by Monday, like do it Monday, and then from there, hit, Success Club 6 or 8 or whatever you want to hit the next month, and run a banging challenge group, and, just do little goals. And as you hit those goals, you're going to build your confidence and then, start taking bigger action.
Thanks for sharing that. One thing that there's some local coaches on, but others aren't local. So I just want to share with you what I just think was so cool was Bluebell literally regulates the pay in our community. It has for years. If you don't know what Bluebell is, it's a huge, started as a family company, but it's expanded. It's a huge, 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 awesome tasting ice cream. But there was a recall on it, and there's a lot of issues with that. But literally hundreds of people lost their job at the same time. Kris actually had a fairly secure job, because I don't remember, but she's pretty high up to the CEO. So she was one of those lucky people that Washington County people would say, is that she got to keep her job with just, some cutbacks in pay and some cutbacks in hours. But in the midst of all of this, while people were, I talk to these people all the time, they were living a large life on Bluebell salary, which wasn't good. And then when they lost their job, it was literally devastating. There was no jobs. And then a lot of them didn't get jobs back whenever they started back up. People were still dealing with the devastation that happened to their family when Bluebell shut down and they lost their jobs temporarily or permanently. And in the midst of all this happening is when Kris walked away. And some people would, in this town, or with a different mindset, might think that she was stupid. And I was like, rock on, girl. That right there solidifies how amazing this is while anybody else was begging for a job, she was able to walk away with confidence, with her head held high, knowing that she was going to do it, and that staying there in that situation was not what she was destined to do. And I don't know. It's just amazing that we can all talk about how it's changed our finances, our health, all these things, but really it all comes down to what Kris said. That summit experience is being together. This was the best summit that I was at ever, other than my first one, because for once I wasn't dying to be with Becky and Kristina. You know, they're my coach and sister, and they're like they are family to me. But I was the Becky and Kristina to my team, and I got to spend time with them, and it was like I felt connected. Like, and that is a feeling that keeps you grounded. It keeps you coming back. It creates, especially somebody like me who doesn't have a family, it created a lot. Elle's here in the background. She is one of my newer coaches, and Ryan and I both told her, he woke up from a nap after she got here, and he repeated literally the same thing that I said, that if you were to walk into that house that we all stayed at, there was like 12 of us, and I knew everybody, and so did Ryan, but mostly nobody knew each other. But if you walked into that house, we both said that it was just so amazing that it was as if we were a bunch of people that grew up together, that just met up, you know, annually in Nashville or whatever to hang out. And I mean, I've never felt so bonded and connected with people. We laughed, we joked. You know, I'm, you know, 300 days almost sober, and everybody was drinking, but they respected me. We had a great time. Like, there was no drama. I mean, nobody didn't get along. I mean, we all had fun. We were talking shit to one another. We were swapping stories. It was just amazing. And for me to reconnect with Melissa Bartow, who was my childhood, you know, one of my best friends, and Robin hadn't seen Melissa in, you know, I don't know, almost 2 decades. It was amazing to have that. And for me, forget the ranks, forget anything. These events and the family feel is what I live for, and why I bleed Beachbody Blue, and why I just so badly want this for all of you. That, you know, I want to see you succeed, because I want you to have that feeling that we have. I want you to come to events. I want you to go to Super Saturdays. I want you to go to Summit, so you can see what this is all about, because you just don't get it even from the Team Relentless group. You just don't really get how big it is and how impacting it is. And I know it's scary. I was there where you were at. I went to my first summit not knowing anybody but my coach. Luckily, I had met her a couple months before, but other than that, I didn't know anybody else. I didn't know what to expect, but I can tell you, you're gonna get way more than what you paid for a ticket, and it's an amazing experience. So, Chris, thank you for sharing your story. It was truly inspiring. I loved how many things we had in common, because I was able to take my family to Destin, my whole family, because I had my first $1,000 month in June of 2012, and I remember that same thing, and the fact that the other day we went on 4th of July to Austin, and Brian's like, just get a Motel 6. It's all we ever stayed in, because we couldn't afford anything else. And we went there, and I mean, I'm not dissing anybody, but I remember thinking, I told him, no, we're moving hotels, because we've gotten so used to amazing hotels that have been paid for by Beachbody because of my rank and my hard work in the past. But I saw how much things change, and I want you to not settle for the super or Motel 6, you know, hotels where you have to wear your shoes to the bathroom because it's so nasty. I don't want you to settle for that. I want you to go out for those 5-star hotels, because you belong to be there in that robe that they have hanging in their bathroom. So anyways, with that being said, there's no call next week, like I said in the beginning, because I'm actually taking my family to Disney World. We're going to be gone for 10 days. Another thing, thanks to Beachbody and my hard work. But I hope to see you on our next team call. I'm looking here just a second. I'm trying to keep track of all the dates. The next team call is on the 23rd, which it will have Caroline Van Zant, who's one of my mentors. And then the next one's on the 30th. It's a training for Team Z, and also an intro to what Team Z does and how it helps other coaches. So I hope to see you there. Again, we're doing the push to Emerald next week, Wednesday the 10th. If you have any coaches or if you yourself want to participate, get in, because this is amazing training. But have a great night, and I hope everybody who went to Summit implements everything they learned, and I hope those that did not get to Summit access all of the trainings and the recordings that took place whenever they're available in the Coach Online office. And I'm going to upload this to YouTube in a little bit so you can share it with your teams. Anything else, anybody? All right. Have a good one.
Good night.